Drinking alcohol is bad for you. It ruins your health and your life, are all words said exclusively by people that don't drink alcohol. Since the most ancient of times, people would consume alcohol to celebrate any type of occasion, be it something like a wedding or a birthday, or even a national or religious holiday, or hell, even a Monday morning. Any occasion can be good enough as long as the spirit's not only in your glass, but also in your soul. We all have to wake up in the morning, dress up, put on our best smile, and spend the next 40 minutes complaining how we're magically the only individual who is stuck in traffic and is not just part of it. Once you're finally back home, is the point when I can witness Jesus Christ coming back to earth and giving back sight to the blind, resurrecting the dead, or even end world hunger. But the only thing I'd be impressed by is if he turns all the liquids in my house into some fine Argiano Brunello di Montalcino. There is only one possible way to end a day like that without ending it forever. We're just sitting down on the couch, legs on the table, animated in 4K, and a cold one in the hand. There's no other way to finally get some rest and at least partially forget about the fact that the next day is probably gonna be even worse. Although nothing can be worse than the fact that you are not subscribed to my channel. Only 1.2% of you guys are subscribed. If you end up enjoying my videos, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It honestly gives me a lot of satisfaction and it's the only thing that keeps me going because these videos take a shitload of time and effort to make. Thank you a lot, I'm done talking, let's get to the video. Every country has its own signature alcoholic beverage. Italy, for example, is famous for its classy approach to drinking with wine, especially red, drinked at a fancy restaurant and accompanied by some exquisite appetizers. Germany has managed to bring to perfection what can only be described as the best drink humankind has ever come up with. While Americans manage to take that and say, "Fuck this shit, we can do better, your son have some real man beer, and not that Nazi crap." And then there's Russia, where anything can be a drink if you're desperate enough. But once you really think about it though, there's just one drink that is above all of them. The spot of the most exquisite, refined, and delicious type of alcoholic beverage will always be held by what can only be described as the quintessential beverage. Cocktails. Just think about it. Thousands upon thousands of different combinations, all with their own unique nuances and twists. You're someone that enjoys a bitter, refreshing taste? Get a gin tonic. It's simple but never disappoints. You're in for something a little sweeter? Maybe even chocolatey. Got you covered, a Black Russian is what you need. You want it a bit less heavier? Go with a slightly more sophisticated grasshopper. The combinations are only limited by your own imagination. The only problem is, you can definitely try and recreate these pieces of art at home, but if you're not absolutely sure of what you're doing, it's the same as if you never held a paintbrush in your hand and decide to recreate the Mona Lisa. It will be shit. Cocktails are most definitely a form of art, and every form of art needs artists to exist. Here's where the bartender comes in play. He's not a simple artisan that crafts good-tasting cocktails. No, he's so much more than that. A good bartender needs to understand his customers. To be a good bartender, you can't solely rely on flashy movements. You have to notice each seemingly meaningless detail, interpret the mood, and be able to recommend your customer a cocktail that will truly satisfy all of their needs. Let's say that a customer is visibly tired and asks the bartender to make them a cocktail he considers the most appropriate for them. A highball, for example, being a strong drink doesn't sound like the right choice. But not if you lower the amount of alcohol and use hard ice that won't melt quickly, allowing the customer to drink it and enjoy all of its flavors as the ice won't water it down in time. Or let's say for example that a customer comes in and asks for a martini. It is the duty of the bartender to proceed and try to understand whether they had eaten prior or not. A high-proof cocktail like a martini might be a bit too strong on an empty stomach. So, finding someone that can rightfully bear the title of barman is quite a challenging task. A task that was assigned to Kuroshima Miwa and Higuchi Yukari. Working in a newly opened hotel's business planning division, they're in charge of finding a professional bartender that would work at the authentic countertop bar that is about to open in the hotel. The search for such a legendary creature, though, is obviously quite tedious. During the job interview, the bartenders are required to satisfy very severe requirements. For example, they might get asked to prepare a cocktail puss style, which requires precision and skill to layer different ingredients in the least amount of time without accidentally mixing them. But most importantly, they need to be able to prepare what the owner of the hotel describes as a glass of God. After 30 candidates get sent home, the two women are at a loss on what to do about the situation. That is up until they meet a guy struggling with modern technologies and help him out. Only to meet him again at a local bar the next day and discover that he works as a bartender at a bar situated in Ginza, called Eden Hall. Having nothing to lose at this point, they decide to check it out, with understandably low expectations. Here, they are greeted by a refined and classy atmosphere, as well as by the same guy from the other day that now seems like a completely different person. Observing him working, they realize that he might be the first bartender they came across that checks all the boxes needed for the position. When Miwa asks him to prepare a drink he thinks might be perfect for her without giving any further detail, she seems disappointed when the bartender comes out with a simple highball. But once she decides to give it a try, well, let's say that her reaction could be described as an actually realistic reaction to swallowing something that tastes good. Everything, from the skill required to craft banger cocktails to the extreme attention to detail, it's all there. Everything except his will to accept the position. And nothing at all seems to change his mind, not even the promised paycheck. Almost as if trying to hide his real motivations, he decides to lie and say that he won't accept the position because the bar is on a very high floor of the hotel, and he's simply too afraid of heights. I'm amazed at how much variety an anime mainly set inside a bar manages to deliver. Each and every time a new customer crosses the doors of the Eden Hall, a new micro-arc begins and ends in about 5 minutes. A drenched woman finds shelter in the bar and asks for a drink that will get her drunk without having to actually taste alcohol. Seems impossible, right? The bartender asks her to wait a bit and brings out a pot of beef soup. But not any soup. It is actually a cocktail called Blue Shot, which he explains was invented by the owner of an American steakhouse in the 1950s that decided to add vodka to it, making it a delicious and warming drink that will also get you shit-faced. It's truly incredible how this series manages to tell a seemingly linear and predictable story that still sucks you right in with the amount of trivia and historical facts about the creation and evolution of cocktails around the world and throughout the years. Everything from the invention of the gin fizz, to the variants of martini cocktails, to digressions about the origins of the saying one for the road. Bartender Glass of God takes you on a journey of discovery during which you get the opportunity to learn something more about this amazing craft without it ever getting too technical or redundant. A very solid premise, accompanied by good animation, a very fitting jazzy OST, and a vibey atmosphere. Best enjoyed with a non-alcoholic Budweiser.